Kell Brook says Errol Spence is a natural welterweight, but Terence Crawford is a sharpshooter. This fight is the real test. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, the big homie, the OG, Kell Brook, recently gave an interview and he spoke about a lot of things that have to do with the Terence Bud Crawford versus Errol the Truth Spence Jr. fight.
We gotta show these people in suits, we gotta show these other fighters that there is a reward in taking risks. The best gotta fight the best, and we gotta show people that.
I wanted to get my deuce on what the big homie had to say and break that down for whoever's listening. Alright, y'all. So, the big homie Kell Brook basically said that he feels like Errol Spence is a natural welterweight. Now, we all remember that Kell Brook is one of the few fighters that has been in the ring with both of these guys. And Kell Brook used to be touted as one of the greatest welterweights in the world. So his opinion is very intriguing when it comes to this fight because of his closeness to both guys. You know, he's been in the ring with both. And he's been where they're at, you know, before in his career. So I was very interested about what Kell Brook had to say.
What I got from Errol Spence, he's a very big welterweight. He's obviously a natural southpaw. You know, he's big, he's strong, he goes to the body good. His IQ is very good in that ring. The thing for me is inactivity he's had at the recent time.
Now, what does he mean by Errol Spence is a natural welterweight? Well, he basically means that he's a big guy, you know, and he carries his weight very well.
Hey, Clown, can you guess my wife's weight?
Sure, $1. She's about, I'd say, one fat bitch.
Packs a nice punch at welterweight, and he has all the skills to, you know, defeat anybody in this division. Now, he said when he was in the ring with Errol Spence, he noticed that Errol Spence had very good ring IQ and great boxing skills to go with his great welterweight size, and he said that he feels like that's an advantage for him, but he definitely feels like Terence Crawford still has a few other advantages over Errol the Truth Spence Jr.
But Bud can box, got a lot of heart, ain't scared, and can hurt you. If I had to bet, I would pick Bud to win by decision.
Now, you know, why would he say that his ring IQ and his natural welterweight size is an advantage? Obviously, he's a bigger fighter than Terence Crawford. So, you know, I think and I feel like that being that Terence Crawford has never been in the ring with a guy, you know, the size of Errol Spence before, I'm not sure if Crawford realizes that Errol Spence will be able to absorb a lot more punishment than other opponents that Terence Crawford has had. And I feel like, you know, yes, Terence Crawford throws a lot of punches, even though Errol Spence has the higher punch output. The punches that he's normally throwing are at normally smaller opponents or opponents around his same size. And he's able to break those guys down, and people view that as him having power.
Damon Dash told DJ Envy, you gotta be your own boss. So what I got a job, he said, could somebody fire you? He said, yeah. He said, see, nobody can fire me. Yeah. But Dame seemed like he crazy when he's saying.
Did you ever enjoy being a slave? Do you have to come to work today? Do you have a choice? Do you have to ask somebody when you have to? Yes, you do.
I don't.
Or you're fired. And another man said you're fired.
Absolutely.
No one can tell me that.
You know, I'm not sure if that power is going to be as effective as it's been against those smaller and, you know, average size welterweights when it comes to a natural welterweight or even bigger, you know, like Kell Brook had to say. You know, is the size really going to play a factor in this fight when it comes to Errol Spence? You know, is he going to be able to play bully in this fight?
I will show you how to execute moves and render your opponent powerless. I will attack and disable my obedient servant.
is he going to be able to absorb a lot more punishment from Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford not be able to hurt him during this fight? You know, it's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts to be had in this fight. The one thing I think we got to understand about size is, you know, and Kell Brook is the perfect example of that. When he tried to move up and fight Golovkin, because he said he feels like that Golovkin, Terence Crawford, and Errol Spence were the best fighters he ever been in the ring with. You know, when he tried to move up and fight Golovkin, even though he was very dominant at welterweight at one time, his size that he was able to impose on other welterweight fighters, it didn't have the same effect on Gennady Golovkin, because Gennady Golovkin has a bigger body type. He's able to take more punishment. He's able to go up higher in weight himself if he wanted to. So, you know, Kell Brook, I don't think, took that into account. Now, for a few rounds, he had a great showing versus Golovkin.
I swear to God, we was rolling.
But once Golovkin got comfortable, he was able to make his power make the difference. And that's sort of how I feel about this Terence Crawford-Errol Spence fight, is that Terence Crawford's going to have a few good rounds, but eventually Errol Spence is going to show his power, and his power is going to make a difference.
You must be Jimmy Walker. You don't deserve nothing, you don't get nothing. You do what I tell you to do. If I raise up, gonna be trouble. Trouble.
Now, Kell Brook also said that he feels like Terence Crawford is a sharpshooter. What does he mean by that? I think he feels like that Terence Crawford has the precision of punching. Like, he can put punches where he wants to put punches at, and that is a great tool to have in your tool bag if you're a boxer. If you've already hurt a guy, like he's cut, and if you can keep targeting that cut, you might be able to just to get the ref to stop the fight. You know, you might not even have to go all 12 rounds.
I think Terence Crawford, to me, can box either style, orthodox, southpaw. You know, he's a very sharpshooter, he's a very good finisher. But like I said, there's a small margin in this fight. It's going to come down to prepare the best, and they need every game plan to go into this fight. This is the real test. Who number one is in the division.
If you want to slow a fighter down and you can precisely place a liver punch, you can stop a fighter in his tracks, and they might have to stop the fight. So, you know, I agree with Kell Brook there that Terence Crawford is a sharpshooting puncher, and, you know, he has the ability to hit guys where he wants to hit guys at. But, you know, is that a winning factor if your opponent's able to absorb those punches better than other opponents that you've had could? You know, you might have been able to stop this guy with that punch, but, you know, is Errol Spence going to stop from that same liver punch? You might be able to drop Errol Spence with a liver punch, but is it going to be enough to keep Errol Spence on the canvas? He might go down, but he might rise up because his body can absorb a little bit more of that liver punch.
1, 2, 3, laugh, laugh, laugh.
I'm not saying that Terence Crawford can't win this fight. I've never said that, and I'm not going to say that. But I do still give Errol Spence the edge. Now, he also said, I'm talking about Kell Brook, said that he feels like this fight is the real test. And I agree, you know, for both of these guys, because you can say that Errol Spence hasn't been in with the best that the welterweight division had to offer. Even though he's been through 3 champions, he's been in with the best that this generation of welterweights has had to offer, or the last generation of welterweights. However you want to view it, because everybody views Virgil and Boots and all these other guys as the future. But, you know, Spence, Crawford, and a few other names are still out there. You know, Kell Brook would have been one from the last generation. Manny Pacquiao would have been another one from the last generation. And, you know, I want to say something else, and this goes for Terence Crawford. Even though Manny Pacquiao was the smaller guy in the Miguel Cotto fight and the Margarito fight, and he wasn't able to drop Margarito, but he was able to drop Miguel Cotto. Now, even though Terence Crawford might not be able to drop Errol Spence, he might be able to overwhelm Errol Spence the same way Manny Pacquiao was able to overwhelm Miguel Cotto and overwhelm Margarito. You know, and both of those guys, you know, kind of had that mummy foot style of boxing, you know, that I keep bringing up, that I feel like Errol Spence has. He has a real dead man's foot real mummy foot style of movement when it comes to the way he boxes. But Errol Spence pumps out the jab a lot more than both of those guys did.
So in this moment, the way I help people is, if I've taught you the game, it's time for you to be a general. And then we can work like generals.
You know, I'm not sure if that will play a factor in this fight. But Terence Crawford could take one thing from Manny Pacquiao and learn something from Manny Pacquiao going up against bigger fighters. It would be that speed kills, and if they can't catch you, they can't hit you, you know, and overwhelming your opponent does work. So, you know, I'm not saying that Terence Crawford can't win this fight. Once again, I'm just saying it's an uphill battle, and Errol Spence has to do basically everything wrong to lose this fight. And I don't see Errol Spence doing everything wrong or losing this fight. I think this is history in the making, and I think Errol Spence recognizes the moment, and you're going to see him, if nothing else, walk out of there with a 12-round victory, and he's going to dominate 7 or 8 of those 12 rounds.
The rest must roll on.
So y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section. Hit that like button, fun man, sure. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tubes, or holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, then hit my Gmail. It is aflackofcards@gmail.com. And we are mine.
Riding in the old school, switching lanes. G's in the hood trying to pitch the cane. I'm a young nigga trying to get the change. Niggas need money, long live the game. Real niggas getting money on the block, putting in work like they on the clock. See me in the hoods that's known to pop, chillin' waiting on my cell phone to stop. Ringing off the hook, now I need a new phone call. Hit her with some soft and she keep a nigga on hard. But y'all ain't the hard type. Y'all chicks acting like niggas, y'all die. Late night outside where the G's be pitching. Got weed, got crack, we be selling these bitches. I'm trying to get that guap, so I'm all the way with it. I ain't bullshitting with you, watch me handle my business. Don't sleep, just eat, nigga. Handle your business. No teeth, go deep, mommy. Handle your business. Yeah. I handle my business. Get it in, move it out. I'ma handle my business. Now, here's how it goes when I'm back in town. I walk up in the club with a black and mild. Grab a thick dame, turn that ass around. Tell her if you ain't no better, ask around. Got the number 1 fly nigga pound for pound. Make the clear disappear, then I down the ground. And you might see me rolling up, shotgun in the ride, and I'm rolling up. Then I'm blowing funk, then I'm posted up, standing next to a car with an open trunk. CDs for the 5, and you know we bump. Willie wheel on the track, then the stack greenback. Late night outside where the G's be pitching. Got weed, got crack, we be selling these bitches. I'm trying to get that guap, so I'm all the way with it. I ain't bullshitting with you, watch me handle my business. Don't sleep, just eat, nigga. Handle your business. No teeth, go deep, mommy. Handle your business.